Hello, people. Doing a live stream again today. And once again, I want to take this opportunity to share the group that I am supporting for donations to help with displaced families that need medical attention, supplies, shelter, food, psychological help, all those things. So if you feel so inclined, I would recommend that you check out that website I have below and make a donation if you feel up for it. There's also a lot of people on Twitter that are matching donations. So take a look at that too. All right. I am going to get building something. Let's see, where are we? So here we are in our app. I think it's pretty feature complete at this point. I'm happy with the design. I'm happy with the content. I think one thing I kind of want to switch around is this search bar. I don't know. I guess that's kind of okay. Maybe we can move it up there. It's probably fine. But what I wanted to get into today was really the experience from an accessibility point of view. So I think color-wise, we're probably going to be fine. But let's do the first pass on things that the computer can catch pretty well, pretty easily. So we'll go into our dev tools and open up the Lighthouse score. And I'm going to do this on desktop because I think it goes faster that way, and I'm not so worried about some of the mobile stuff. Well, let's do it for mobile. SEO, I don't care. Accessibility, I do. Best practices, yes. Progressive web app, I don't. And performance is not going to be important now because it's going to get a bad performance score because we're on a local dev server. So let's just focus on best practices and accessibility. And this is going to check the metrics that are measurable by machines. So not everything, if we get a 100% score, that doesn't mean it's 100% accessible, and we'll kind of look through that. Okay, so accessibility, it says 100%. These are things that I don't have control over. HTTPS will be the case when we deploy it, and content security policy. Also something that we would need to do on the server. And since this is developed to work with EdgeWorkers, we don't have control over that. So we can just ignore that. Low resolution images. This is because apparently this is a low resolution image, but it's not one that we have control over either. So we can add a dimension onto that though. So let's do that. Get into, oh, I'm in the wrong place. No, I'm in the right place. Fast friendly forecast, yeah. Or freaking fast forecast. That's what we changed the name to. So let's see here. I want to put 100 by 100. I want to put those dimensions explicitly on this image. Here we go, Alt, and we're going to say width equals 100 and height equals 100. Okay. Let's try reloading that. Yeah. You'll be there in a second. No, you're not there? What's going on, baby? Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's try. That was a best practice. We had 100% on accessibility. So just for the sake of speeding things up, we'll just do the best practices. And then I want to tackle some other stuff while we're here. So I want to get into, let me see. I want to get into some of the table markup stuff. So I think we can do a little bit better than what we have. I'm just going to look at some notes. All right, 85. Still complaining about that image. Image natural dimension should be proportional to the display size. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to ignore that. I'm not too worried about it. So everything that we have control over looks like we're getting pretty much across the board. We can assume good scores on Lighthouse. Now, what I want to also point out is we're following the right heading structure where we have H1 is the first thing, H2 is kind of, or the page is kind of broken into two sections, or and the next section down is going to be titled by H2. After all, this is the weather for New Augustinaside, Alabama, in Trinidad. And let's see. After that, we go into our H3s where we have the current weather, and then we have another section with the hourly weather. That's the next H3. And then we have the daily weather, and that's kind of a good breakdown of our heading classes. And then in this section here, this is broken into a couple different things. We have our current weather. We may want to make this another heading so that we kind of dive in H3, and then the next landmark is the temperature. Maybe, maybe not. That's also just a paragraph, and that's all one paragraph. So it should be read as 73 degrees Fahrenheit, broken clouds. And then I don't know if it would read, I don't think it would read that. Width, it looks like we have a mistake that I introduced there. Yep, hit the wrong thing there. Okay. And then the next major landmark is this table. And then it'll be easy for well, I don't want to say easy, but it's possible for a keyboard user or a screen reader user to navigate this table with the keyboard and get to see, what things say. Okay, let's look at the next section. We have the main heading landmark is in H3. It says it's the hourly, and then we get into all of these divs. And these divs are broken into a couple different sections. The date, we have a span for the time, we have a table. So I think it might make sense, since this is the hourly time, to actually break this down so that each of these sections is kind of headed by their own heading. So let's do that next. In my hourly, we're going to say, instead of a class of H4, I'm just going to go ahead and make this an H4. Okay, so then that should say, I can go down into hourly, and then I can go down further into the headings and say 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Cool. And then after my heading, I would have this span, which maybe that should be a paragraph now that I'm looking at it. So instead of a span, we're going to make this a paragraph. And then we have our table. Okay. And then the same with this next section. We probably want to adjust these landmarks so that it tells what the date is. So let's go down here. And here we have a span of H4. We want that to actually be an H4. We can get rid of this class of H4 now. And that's going to be my date. Sure, let's try that. I like that styling. Yeah, that's okay. Cool. And then the span, I'm also going to make a paragraph. Cool. Let's see how we're looking now. That might have shifted some of the styles. Yeah, because now we have this paragraph, and this paragraph is going to get, well, I guess I don't need this BR. Yeah, I'm going to say margin 0 on that. And then the table can also have margin 0. Cool. That's what my design is going to look like. So I just need to go back here. Let's see. This one is going to have its own margin top that we're going to get rid of. The table needs the same thing. And then up here, we get the same thing. We get rid of this guy and we say your margin top 0, and this table gets a class. Cool. Let's reload that and see how that looks. Whoops. Come on. Working slow today. Okay. This section. Does this table? Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the margin on that one too. So we still have something going on here funny with this. Oh, we don't have a class of margin top. Okay, that's cool. Let me get up here, go to my table here, and just it's going to say class equals margin top of 0. And then we need margin bottom. Margin top. And that's going to be margin block start. That's going to make some redundant CSS, but I'm not too worried about it. Cool. Everything is nice and tight, looking good. Quite happy with this, in fact. All right, so now our semantics are kind of there and make some sense, right? We've got this H3, and then inside of there, the H4 is going to be this date, which is great. Then we have the paragraph, which I think is fine. We don't need an H5 in there, I don't think. And we've got this table. So now I need to go through, or I want to go through and add some more helpful ARIA attributes for the table specifically, because depending on which assistive technology people are using, we can maybe give them a better hint of sort of the direction of the table, particularly with things like this, where the heading is on the left instead of at the top, which is the case for all of our tables. So let's do that. And let's see. I'm going to start with each table. and just go to all of them and say role equals table. And then we don't have a caption on any of these, and I don't think we need it. After all, I think it's pretty clear to derive that the table is relevant to the weather. So we want to give as close of a experience to sighted users as non-sighted users. And in this case, I don't think sighted or unsighted users get much of a benefit from adding a caption to our table. So now I want all of the, where is it? I guess I don't have a table head or a table body, do I? Well, not there. Table row. Yeah, I don't, because the head is over on the left-hand side. Okay, so we don't need to do that. I do need to come up here. I'm at the top. And every table row is going to get a role of row. And then every table data is going to get a role of cell. And then I think every table header so here all of my table headers are scoped to the row. So I think it should be scope equals row, and then role equals row header. And I'm just going to make sure I know what I'm talking about here because I actually don't know what I'm talking about. So let's go HTML table scope row. Check that the scope attribute is only being used on TH. Okay, that's what we're doing. So yeah, table header scope is column. That makes sense because this is a table header across the top of the table. And then this is a table header just for that row. So that's what we have. And the scope attribute makes table navigation much easier for screen reader users, provided it's used correctly. Scope attribute must be used. Oh, okay. I think I've got this right. So enumerated attribute defines the cells that the header element relates to. It may have the following rules. Row, the header relates to all cells of the row it belongs to. That's how we're using it. Call, the header relates to all cells of the column it belongs to. Row group. The header belongs to a row group. Call group. Okay. Align is deprecated. Oh, didn't know that. I definitely am using align right now. I think that's right. Cool. So with that, with that in place, that should make things a little bit easier. And now we're actually going to try this out by stopping the music and going to NVDA and
section.
We are on our app. So
section document. Search location. Edit. Button submit. Heading level 2 weather for Boa Fort, Nevada, United States of America.
So as you can see, it's totally in the wrong spot. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this so that, let's see. Let's stop sharing the screen. Oh boy. And I'm going to switch screens over here.
Main landmark heading level.
Okay, now I'm going to share my screen.
Section.
Okay.
Freaking fast forecast brave. Private. Freaking fast forecast document. Heading level 2 weather for Schaumburg, Oklahoma. Djibouti.
Okay, Djibouti. So I'm going to start navigating this just with the keyboard. So if I press H, it's going to take me down to the current heading level 3. I can see the pink boxes where I'm currently on. The yellow box is the current letter, and I can navigate to the next letter with the right keyboard. One again, one again, one again. And then I can go to the next heading. If I hit H again. Okay. H again gets me to the next heading within the current section. And I think I can skip all of. No.
Line feed. Out of heading. Out of heading. Line feed. Table with 4 rows and 2. 5 p.m. heading level. Out of heading. Line feed. Out of heading. 2/28. 2/ out of heading.
I don't know how to navigate this thing.
6 p.m. heading level.
Okay, so the H can take me now because we've added the all of the correct markup. We can actually navigate from heading to heading. So I can search from 6 to 7 to 8. Yeah, and then I don't know how to skip over to the next H3, which would be daily.
7 p.m. heading.
Well, I can go backwards.
4 p.m. heading level 4. 6 p.m. heading level 4.
So let's figure this out.
Mute text. It times. Search.brave.com's link. The keyboard shortcut text.
Let's try these. I know this one and this one might be it.
Text. NVDA keyboard section list item. List item section text. But text section.
Is this what I want?
Section.
Let's try this. Okay. So I want headings.
Embedded object.
Okay. I want not forms. Current line, bottom line, next character. Oh, hi, Nugget. Hello. What are you doing? You're just coming to say hi? I want. Oh man, this stuff is tough. Okay.
History brave.
Oh, that's not what I want.
Home brave. Document text.
Oh, that's not what I want. Oh no.
Jump list for list new section.
I accidentally made it go away.
Document.
That's
text.
okay. Localhost 3000.
Focus selected. Document.
And let's go with
Landmark.
Oregon.
Frequent fast forecast. Main landmark and text. Document. Grouping. Weather for Portland, Oregon 2/20. Frequent fast for weather for current hourly heading level 3 p.m. heading level 4.
So how do I just skip?
Button. Pane. New tab.
NVDA. Navigate headings.
Search.brave.com/search and link text. Main landmark globe with meridians graphic web pair document.
Oh gosh, there's so much. Okay. Let's see. Find
Results. Result 1 of 5.
headings and lists. Okay.
Web aim. Keyboard. Cell.
Headings 1 through 6. Okay, the quick key. Okay, cool. So if I go here and I hit H, well, I'm 4 p.m. And so, got it. So because I'm on 4,
daily heading level 3.
Yes, if I hit the number 3, I go to daily. That's wonderful.
No next heading at level 3. Hourly heading level 3. Current heading level 3. Hourly heading level. Daily heading level 3.
Oh, that's great.
Hourly heading level 3 p.m. 4 p.m. 5 p.m. 4 p.m. and 3 p.m. heading level 4. Daily heading level 3.
That's so cool. Okay, so I can navigate with just the keyboard going because we put the headings. Let's stop this now. Let's exit. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that was fun. So let's see what we've got. My camera's bugging out, isn't it? All right, let's get back onto just one moment. I'm going to move back to my normal setup and share my screen one more time. And so here's what we did today. With that markup, we basically made it easier to navigate from the title of the page to the main section of the page to the individual sections of each page. So current, hourly, and daily. We also made it easier once you're in hourly to drop down into 3, 4, 5, each of these hours individually. And then from there, you can tab into the table for the respective hour. So that's pretty handy, even for someone that doesn't use a screen reader all the time. I was able to kind of figure that out relatively quickly and got comfortable with it. It was kind of fun at the end. Right. There was actually one more thing I wanted to show off, and that is still back with NVDA. And here comes the,
dialogue.
Let's see.
Checkbox. Dialogue. Okay. Left button.
So I want to change some things on here. Well, no, it's fine. So what I want to do is we didn't check out the tables.
Table with 4 rows and 2 columns, row 1, column 1, landmark, document. Table with 4 rows and 2 columns, row 1, column 1, cloudiness.
Okay, so right now, because I was focused on this hourly, and then I hit table, it went to this table with 4 columns, or sorry, 2 columns and 4 rows, I think.
Table with 4 rows and 2 columns, row 1, column 1, cloudiness.
Yeah, tables with 4 rows and 2 columns. Row 1, column 1 is cloudiness, and that's what it's reading here. And then if I hit tab again,
Table with 4 rows and 2 columns, row 1, column 1, cloudiness.
is for this 4 p.m. one. So
C. Column 2, 100%.
okay,
Row 2, column 1, precipitation.
precipitation.
Column 2, 0.66%.
Okay, so I'm at the 5 p.m.
Row 3,
table.
column 1, humidity. Column 2, 87%.
That's pretty cool. I'm also thinking precipitation. We have the numbers wrong there.
Column 1, UV index. Column 2, 0.01%. Out of table 2/28/22. Heading level 4, 6 p.m. 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Graphic light rain. Table with 4 rows and 2 columns, row 1,
This is so
column 1,
cool.
cloudiness. Column 2, 100%. Row 2, column 1, precipitation. Column 2, 0.66%. Row 3, column 1, humidity. Column 2, 85%.
And then I'm going to switch down to daily.
Daily heading level 3. Heading level 4, 2/28/22. 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Graphic heavy intensity rain. Table with 5 rows and 2 columns, row 1, column 1, hot. Column 2, 57.69 degrees Fahrenheit. Row 2, column 1, low. Column 2, 52.75 degrees Fahrenheit. Row 3, column 1, cloudiness.
Okay, so that was cool. Yo, what's up, Rugmat? Sorry, I was stepping through this screen reader thing. I realized that the camera is obscured by the banner. Let me turn this off. Yeah, but I actually don't really have control over where the camera is. I don't think. No, I don't. But I thought it was important to have that banner up, so you're just gonna have to deal with not being able to look at my beautiful face for a little while. But yeah, to catch you up on what we've been doing today, we mostly finished. Let's see, there's one little bug left in this app, or maybe a couple. My precipitation calculation is wrong. What software am I using? Am I suing to stream? I'm not going to sue anyone. But what am I using to stream? I'm using a web app called, I know that's what you meant. Sorry for being so pedantic. I'm using a web app called Restream. And it's pretty sweet. It streams to a bunch of different platforms, very easy to use. And, it's just, I kind of am optimizing my life for comfort and ease. I've done some stuff with OBS, and I've been thinking about getting back into it just for like things like this. I also know that like it'd be kind of cool to have the chat running up in the screen the way that up over here, wherever it is on Alex's at Fimian's stream. That's kind of cool, and all the other fun stuff. We'll see. I'll get into it more. Right now, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm building cool content, and I feel like sometimes that technical stuff just kind of gets in the way of actually creating, which is why my website is powered by WordPress, because it just works and it's easy. Cool. So what was I going to fix again? Oh yeah, let me show you the stuff that I got into. So as of today, we did some changes on the heading structure. So the heading of the document, this is really important for screen readers, which I was demonstrating earlier, is that you really should have just one H1 on the page. All of the headings are landmarks that assistive technology uses to navigate around. So H1, there should be just one. That's like just the top, essentially like the name of the page or the name of the document. And then for each different section below H1 or within kind of that larger document, you can break those up with H2s. So here we only have one other section that you can think of within that larger document, and that's just the weather for Portland. If we had a different city's weather, maybe like down below, we'd probably have a second H2. And then the weather for Portland is broken into visually and in the document 3 sections. So semantic, we're using these sections to break up the 3 sections, and then we're using H3s to outline the title for those sections. So hourly, daily. And then this section, that's pretty much where we leave it, because although we have some different elements, they kind of have their own um, natural separation. So the H3 is the title or the heading, and then a paragraph covers um, the temperature and the description, and yeah, and that's fine as a paragraph. And then there's a table where a user with assistive technology can kind of navigate from table to table. And I was showing that earlier, where you kind of get just with the keyboard alone, you can kind of get through all this stuff. When you get down into the hourly and the daily, we have it broken down a little bit more because we have different hours and different days. So we take it a little step further and we add one more H4. So we go from the section and the H3 heading. We can go one step further and say, well, there's this other section here that's just, or this little div here, that is the section just for the 3 p.m. Right. So we give that title to 3 p.m. Um, and we have, each of the hours, and that makes it easier for a screen reader user to jump in from the document. The next heading down would be the weather for Portland. The next heading down would be current. Then the next heading down would be hourly. And then the next heading down would be 3 p.m. And if they hit the heading again, they'll go to 4 and then 5 and then 6. And they can actually jump from there. They're not stuck in this loop where they have to go like 24 or however 48 hours. They can actually just skip right ahead to the next heading, which would be the next heading up, which would be H3, which is this daily. And then they can go to the H4s into there. So that's pretty cool. And then the other semantic thing that we did was just on these tables. We went through and added, I do have a T body. Is that the only table I have a T body on? No, I have another T body. Interesting. Do I have that in here? Table. Is the document just adding bodies? It is. How very interesting. Well, I should probably be doing that then. Okay, so on my tables, because I want to be explicit about this, in my table, we're going to go down here and say T body, and the T body is going to have a role of row group. I think that's what I want. So we'll move that out. And the reason why I'm adding these roles was this other sort of place that we spent the time today, which is on the semantic ARIA roles for these tables. So we, on every table, we add the role of table. On every row, we add the role of row. On every header, we add the scope of row because it's responsible for this row, and it gets a role of row header, and that's because here this is the header for the row. It's in a horizontal orientation as opposed to the, I guess, traditional vertical orientation where the headers are on the top of the column. Here, our headers are on the left-hand side of the row. So that's why it's like that. Um, that is the best markup to my knowledge, and I've spent a fair amount of time on learning accessibility stuff, but even that is, I'm not 100% sure about that one. So, if you want to call my bluff or, uh, something else, would love to hear it. Otherwise, this is the best that I can come up with. So let's throw those other T bodies on there. And that's really going to be the end of this app. So we've got our accessibility. Uh, we did our lighthouse audit at the beginning of this stream, and everything came back as 100% accessible, which you have to take with a grain of salt because a lighthouse report or any other service that's going to audit your website or web app for accessibility, it's only going to be able to measure the things that robots can actually measure. So things like making sure that heading structures are in the right order, or making sure that forms have labels and buttons have labels and things like that, images of alt text. But there are some other usability things that a lighthouse report or any other accessibility auditing tool is not going to be able to help with. Yeah. So this article that you're sharing here, Matuzo at blog, building the most inaccessible site possible with a perfect lighthouse score. This is such a great article that I'd highly recommend people check out because, yeah, he basically walks through all of the ways that you can kind of game the lighthouse score to have it generate something that technically it thinks is good, but is actually wildly inaccessible for people. And uh, it's a fun article. But the key thing is, definitely, I don't know. I think the lighthouse scores and things like that are really great because they can cover so much so quickly and just like point you directly to where the problem is. The only problem with them is that people tend to think that, once they've hit 100%, that the work's done, and that's just not the case. Um, so yeah, it's a tool to make accessibility work better. So that's all I'm going to be covering on that today. And in the time that I have left, what I thought would be cool would be to actually start playing around with a little code pen thing. I want to build a single div flag of, well, the Ukrainian flag. I thought that'd be fun. So I'm going to do that and say I want to use some modern CSS. So I'm going to say that this has an aspect ratio of, I think, 2:1. I actually don't know how to do this, but then we'll say background is going to be red just so we can see it. Whoops. Cool. It looks like we got that right. Let's do um, let's do this. Let's do max block size. Is that right? Yeah, max block size of 100 viewport height units. So there, now it's only going to be as tall as the viewport. I'm going to give the body style of display grid and place items center. Is that what I want? Or place content center? Also, I did not spell items right. Place item center. I think that's what I want. No? Well, let's build what we're actually trying to build. So there's my flag. And because I'm doing this with a single div and I need a blue and a yellow color, let's see if I can pull those actual colors. Ukrainian flag. Did I spell that right? Okay, but I want the actual colors. Hex code, please. Scheme color. Okay, cool. Let's copy that. Did I get that? Doot. I did not. Oop. Oh, here we go. 005 BBB. So I can do this in a number of ways. I could do something like div and use a before element, or what else could I do? I don't know, but I want to do something kind of somewhat creative, something somewhat more interesting. So I think what I'm going to do is have a background color of linear gradient, and I don't remember exactly how this goes. But let's just put those colors in first. So we can go 000B something, 5 BBB, 5 BBB, and then it should go to FFD 500, FFD 500. And I feel like that should work. I feel like that should have done it. I don't want you. So I've got my flag, background color, linear gradient. Okay, linear. I'm not gonna be able to do this off the top of my head. How embarrassing. Linear gradient. Oh, it's because it can't be a background color of linear gradient. Dang, I was close though. I can't feel too bad about that. That's pretty good. Background, linear gradient. And I also have my colors wrong. That's why. Okay, so was it not background color? Okay, no, can't be background color. So background is a linear gradient. Dang, pretty close. Getting there already. So I guess I could be explicit and be like top to bottom, right? Because then I think I could go, how do you do the left to right? It's like to right or something like that. Yeah, see, left to right, and I want to bottom. I could go to top and switch it around. That's cool. To bottom. We won't mess with that because that's the default anyway. And then the linear gradients, I think you do with the percentage, you can do like 50%, and then and then we want the same exact color. What do we want? I want from 0% to 50% to be that blue, which is what I have. And then I want this same yellow to be that at 50.1%. There we go. That's pretty much it. That was really easy. um, cool. Well, you know, that wasn't so bad, I guess. Maybe a harder flag would have been more interesting, but yeah, I thought this was going to be fun to take advantage of aspect ratio and some different linear gradients. Um, well, that's it. That's all I got. Maybe we can do something else. What else can we do? I guess I should probably figure out how to place this thing. So, um, body. I want you to have a. I think the problem is the body doesn't have any height. And so we're going to say min height or just a height of 100%. Okay. And HTML, oops, height of 100%. Interesting. So that's going to take, oops, I don't want to save. That's going to take up all of the height of the browser or all the height of the screen. Um, and then why is my div? Oh, it's because this is placed in the center. Yeah, that's the problem. Because it doesn't have any intrinsic height, which means when we place it in the center, it's going to squeeze down to the 0 by 0 pixels that it takes up. Hmm. So this is an interesting challenge that I didn't anticipate running into. Let's try this. If we say display flex and then justify content center, that's basically what I want. If I say display grid and justify content center, that's where it kills that, brings it down to just the size of the div. Well, I guess that's the solution. I wish I had a better understanding of how to accomplish that with grid, but let's justify content center. Cool. We've got that thing going on. Now let's do a little bit more and say margin HTML, I think. Well, I don't even need that actually. Just take that off there, pop it on there. Cool. There's my flag. And it is only ever, or it is, okay, we have, it can get to be too big. So max block size 100%, max inline size 100%. Let's try that. If I go really big, oh, the aspect ratio doesn't adjust it. Okay, that's interesting. So the aspect ratio makes it twice as big as it is, twice as wide as it is tall. But then if I go with a screen size that's really tall and I don't want it to overflow horizontally, How would I accomplish that? I mean, the good old padding hack would have worked. But we're not trying to do a padding hack. We're trying to learn modern CSS and play with it. So maybe I'll just look it up. Aspect ratio max with with height. It's not going to tell me anything about that. This is going to be an interesting challenge. I wonder if I can do percentages, if that's going to change anything. No. What if I change this percentage to viewport width? And it runs, and it's still, man, that's tricky. I don't know how to do that, but that's okay. You know, sometimes you don't know how to do stuff. Well, anyway, I hope that you found this part at least a little bit enjoyable as a way to close off the episode. We're finished. We finished our project. I think that this project is technically complete. I'm going to launch it on my own, put it on Akamai EdgeWorkers, so it'll be available. But I'm not going to bother doing that on a live stream. But what we will do is we'll technically move on to the next sort of project next week, or I guess no, tomorrow at 3. But that new project is actually going to kind of use this project, and what we're going to shift focus to is testing, writing unit tests for our application. So we're going to write it into this project, but the focus is not going to be to build things out like this. So this was a fun project. And you know what? If you have ideas on the next projects, also hit me up. Let me know. I'm down to build something that you think is cool. So that's it. And I will catch you next time. See ya.